Alexander Volkanovski recently did an interview discussing his upcoming fight with Dick Lopez, where he talks about coming back from a three-fight losing streak. We're gonna read this article. I'm gonna give you my opinion about how I feel this fight could potentially play out, and what all is going against Alexander Volkanovski in this return. So that if that interests you, stick around. Without further ado, is this gonna work? Wow, first try. Alright. So this is coming from MMA Junkie. I found it off of Yahoo Sports. I don't know why, because when I clicked it, it said MMA Junkie. Well, we're gonna go with it. It's no secret that former UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski's career has seen better days. Volkanovski, 26 and 4 in MMA, 13 and 3 in the UFC, not long ago on a dominant title run and considered the pound for pound best in MMA, currently finds himself on a two-fight losing streak and one and three in his past four, with his two most recent defeats coming by knockout. It's been a big fall for the Australian and one that brought many existential questions to his career. You are going to ask, this is Volkanovski speaking, you're going to ask yourself, like, all right, this is unfamiliar territory, an unfamiliar feeling. Have you lost it? What's going on? You must not want it anymore. Volkanovski said to the could you read those parts? I was like, no, not really. I remember that I have accepted that I'm having the break. What have you accepted that you're done? No, I haven't. I'll be back. I'll flip the switch. But will you flip the switch? You ask yourself these questions where I always answer relax. When the time comes, you will flip the switch. Don't worry, but I guess you won't know until you decide to do that. Um, Goes on to talk about he's returning in Miami. Uh, there were questions. Am I going to be able to flip the switch? Am I going to be the same guy once I flip the switch? We found out early because we started camp nice and early that we would. We're kicking ass in the gym right now. The weight is ahead of schedule, and we've still got plenty of time. I'm going to get my belt back. I'm going to defend, and that's just going to add to my legacy and add to the story. So, um, okay. Do I want to jump into that first? No, I'm gonna wait a bit. So, obviously, with this situation, right, where you have somebody like Volkanovski, who wasn't just a champion, a dominant champion, one of the most dominant champions of all time, and is considered the greatest in his weight class, or at least in the conversation. But many people do believe that due to the fact that Taporia is moving out of the division already, Volkanovski has that seat for himself, beating Aldo, beating Holloway three times. And you have to bring up the fact that the Taporia loss was 3 months after he got knocked out by Islam Makhachev. It's very important because one, his brain didn't have enough time to heal, very short notice. And we'll also have to see how will being knocked out twice in a row that quick affect Alex Volkanovski moving forward. Like, this is the thing that I have with fighters who, lose the fight, get knocked out. AJ Adesanya, we'll have to see what he does next. you know, you can go back to basically any store, Rampage Jackson, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, name a legend. Majority of them in their careers, to the later end of the career, they end up being finished. They end up being knocked out. They end up being submitted back to back to back to back. And in MMA, we're different from boxing because it's not about the numbers on your record. It's not about having an O or not having an O. It's about who you beat, right? And to have a win over a Volkanovski means that you're automatically in contention to be a superstar. Volkanovski is in the top 10 of, I would say, mostly everybody's list, and probably the top 5 on a few others. You know, this is a guy who, from the UFC standpoint, this is a guy you are either gonna have as champion again, or whoever beats him. In this case, it'd be Diego Lopez. You're hoping could gain that star power, have a spectacular finish, really get out there on the mic. That's what you expect when you pair somebody up with Volkanovski. Now, I know what the fuck they're doing with Jose Aldo. I fucking hate it. Don't remind me in the comments. But I don't think I do not think they will do the same thing that they did with Aldo to Volkanovski. They just fucking hate Jose Aldo for no reason. But now that I'm done yelling about that, you know, say Volkanovski beats Lopez, and then let's say fights Evloev. I don't know, any name. I hear Rodriguez who always gets fucking title shots for no reason. You know, if he can come back, win that title, have your only 3 losses be to two guys that could currently go down as the greatest fighters of all time. Capoeira, undefeated. He beats Makachev. That's a wrap. You know, Makachev, I know he has that one knockout loss. He beats Topuria. He keeps defending the lightweight belt. Maybe he wins the welterweight or the middleweight belt or both of them. Fuck it, why not? Then you have conversation right there. But for Volkanovski, he won't be in the greatest, the number one, but you have to have him in the top 10. You have to acknowledge what he did in one of the most prestigious divisions in UFC and MMA. And the featherweight division hasn't been around that long in MMA. It used to be lightweight, where it's cut off, and if you couldn't make lightweight, you have to go to Elite XC or Strike Force or uh, WEC. That's the one. Yeah, like I don't know, dude. I'm a big Volkanovski fan. I was a big Holloway fan too. During that trilogy, though, I really gained the respect of Volkanovski. I love his game. I love the striking, the durability, the Brian Ortega win where he sat in a guillotine for minutes, didn't pass out, didn't tap out, came back and won the fight. Those are the kind of moments that cement your legacy in the MMA, you know, what the sport of MMA and the history of MMA, whatever you want to call it. Like, that is stuff that will never, it will happen again, but it will never have the same emotion as it did with Volkanovski. Like, now, what are we gonna say if we look back on Volkanovski's legacy? You go look on his topology, and you see Islam twice, you see Taporia, then you see Diego Lopez. Maybe Diego Lopez turns into another monster at featherweight. Then we'll have the conversation, oh, we never got Diego Lopez versus Taporia. Or maybe we'll get it. We'll never know. But, like I said, Volkanovski is in a different category. Volkanovski is going out there to prove that he he wants to be in the conversation for Mount Rushmore. He wants to be in the top 5. He wants to be in the top 10. And that's what I love about this sport. Right? Over 35, coming off of 2 knockout losses. I don't like his odds. I'll be rooting for him. I like Diego Lopez too, like I said. I'll be rooting for Volkanovski. But again, dude, it's the age. It's been knocked out twice. I know he's had a year to recover. But I don't know, man. I feel like he has the skills. He definitely has the skills to beat Diego Lopez. It's just Father Time is undefeated. We'll have to see next week in April. We'll have to see what the lead up to the fight is like, what the embedded series is like, all that stuff. But let me know in the comments down below. What are you thinking going into UFC 314? And what are you thinking about Volkanovski's position in this fight? And do you believe that it could cut a bit of his legacy if he loses to Diego Lopez? I'd love to hear what you have to think in the comments down below. Um, like, my opinion though, if Ilya Topuria isn't staying in the featherweight division, Volkanovski is the GOAT. I don't see Diego really putting 5 together with how tough that division is. But like I said, let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? And yeah, it should be a fun fight. It will be a very fun few months trying. Well, I guess it will be longer than that. A very fun year figuring out what we're gonna do at featherweight and also lightweight. So that's all I got. I'm gonna stop rambling later.